The same thing he's been telling the state for months. He promises the tires will be cleaned up, but state environmental officials aren't buying it, and they've launched a criminal investigation. What happened here is part of a much bigger picture. It's one of the top 3 blight problems in our city. Meet the CEO of Beals Rubber Recycling. Henry Ross is his name, and tires are his game. Problem is, Ross didn't recycle squat for months. Check out this mess he left in northwest Detroit. A massive pile of used tires stacked 12 feet high. They were supposed to be recycled, but Ross just dumped them here, and the building is full too. There are at least 52,000 tires here, according to the State Department of Environmental Quality, known as DEQ. I wanted to ask you about the tires you dumped up on Linden.
The tires?
Yeah.
Man, they mine, man. Get off my face today.
Well, tell me, why did you dump all those tires up there?
Because I'm selling them, man.
Selling them to who?
I got a couple of buyers.
Where?
I don't have to tell you that. I got a couple of buyers that I'm selling my tires to.
The truth is, there are no buyers. Someone will have to pay to clean up this mountain of rubber carcasses, and it'll probably be you and me. More on that in a minute. Right now, let me explain what's supposed to happen to used tires and how Henry Ross played the system to pocket a wad of cash. When you have new tires put on your car, the state has a system for tracking and recycling the old ones. Retailers turn over your used tires to a DEQ-registered hauler. They pay the hauler about $1.25 per tire. The hauler takes the tires to a recycler and pays them about $1 a tire. The tires are then shredded into different size particles and sold to be reused for everything from playground mulch to floor mats.
You know, and trying to put our efforts into finding beneficial reuses for scrap tires, because if this can become a resource instead of a waste, we're a lot less likely to see this happening on our vacant lots in Detroit.
As used tires move from the retailer to the hauler to the recycler, every step is documented on a manifest, so the state has a record of where every used tire goes. But in the case of Henry Ross, who was a licensed hauler, things went sideways. Ross leased this property last May, telling the owner, who lives in Florida, he was opening a recycling business. To this day, the owner says Henry Ross hasn't paid him a dime in rent.
Unfortunately, I have MS, and my total income comes from Social Security disability. This was really my only avenue for any other income to support me.
When the DEQ discovered Ross was stockpiling tires instead of recycling, they started taking pictures and writing violations. Records show Ross made a lot of promises and gave a lot of excuses, but the tires continued to pile up. As pressure mounted, Ross told the DEQ he was paying this certified recycler to pick up the tires and take them to his shredders.
I think he paid me one time, and then I took 7 loads that I didn't get paid for.
Do you think he had any intention of recycling tires at that building?
No.
He was going to need me to pay me, and then he was going to do this, and he was working on this, and his mother died. I mean, it's one story after the other, the same as he told the DEQ.
And Ross is still making promises. How are you going to get anybody to take them?
I sold them, bro. All them. I don't have to tell you that.
Well, why don't you? Then it'd be the end of the story.
Okay, you know what you do? Give me 2 months, and they're gone.
But the DEQ has been on this guy for months and gotten nothing but promises. This big pile of tires begs the question. If Ross was registered by the DEQ, why did they wait so long to stop him?
Sometimes people choose to not comply with the law, and we have a process. You know, they have their due process that they go through before we can put them on notice and revoke their hauler registration.
Henry Ross's pile is a big one, but it's just one of many. Vacant lots and buildings across the city are stuffed with used tires, and it's tough to stop. There's a big incentive for tire retailers to cut corners. Remember, it costs $1.25 to get rid of a tire legitimately.
And it costs you 50 cents to get rid of a tire illegally, and you don't have anybody checking you. What are you going to do?
The DEQ says big tire retailers play by the rules, and small operators are responsible for most of the dumping.
I mean, we have 300 used tire stores in the city of Detroit, and it's a lot to police.
City and state officials say there are a lot of used tire shops in the city operating illegally, either unlicensed or in violation of zoning laws. Some don't even know the laws.
You know what a manifest is?
No.
Okay, so you don't have one. All right.
So the Detroit Buildings and Safety Department is helping DEQ fight dumping by shutting down illegal tire shops until they follow the law.
All right, well, we're going to close this lot. We're going to put a padlock on this gate.
As for Henry Ross, he's no longer a legal hauler. He allowed his registration to lapse just as the DEQ was moving to revoke it. Now the state has launched a criminal probe. Joe Cross says he lost his income, his building has been stripped, and the taxes are piling up. He's probably going to have to walk away, which is what Henry Ross did when he finally had enough of my questions.
Can you get out my face if I can?
No, he can't. We're a public place. Joe Cross never got a dime from you, man. And he doesn't think he ever will. Right now, Joe Cross is responsible for the cleanup on his property, but he doesn't have the money, and if he walks away, it becomes the city's problem. Then the city will get a grant from the state to clean up the site, which means we all wind up paying for it. I'm Scott Lewis, 7 Action News.